Welcome to our deep dive. You wanted The Obstacle is the Way, Ryan Holiday's book. And let me tell you, this book, it really is a game changer.
Oh, it is. It really is.
So we're ready to jump into this, right?
I'm ready.
Turning obstacles into opportunities.
Turning obstacles into opportunities, yeah.
What does that even mean?
Well, the idea, and this is drawing from the Stoics, right, is that obstacles aren't detours on your path to success. They are the path.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it, right? Because it really makes you think differently about all those things that you see as roadblocks in your life.
Yeah, it's a total reframing.
Yeah.
And Holiday really illustrates this, with a lot of great stories from history and examples of people who have
I love this.
used obstacles to their advantage.
Okay, so give me an example. Give me one that just blew your mind.
Okay, so one that comes to mind is Demosthenes, one of the greatest orators of ancient Greece, right? So here's a guy who started with a major disadvantage. He had a speech impediment. He was physically frail.
Oh.
And then, on top of that, he loses his inheritance.
Oh, that's rough.
Which could have crushed anyone.
Yeah.
Right? But he doesn't let these setbacks defeat him.
So what does he do?
He sees them as fuel.
Okay.
So he practices relentlessly, speaking with pebbles in his mouth to overcome his stutter.
Wow.
He uses the loss of his inheritance to focus completely on honing his craft.
So he literally turns those obstacles into the tools he needed to succeed. I mean, that's pretty inspiring.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how this might apply to my own life, but it can't just be about mindset, right?
Well, no, it's not.
What about taking action?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
You can't just think differently. You got to act differently, right? And I think that's where the process comes in.
The process.
Yeah. So this is Coach Nick Saban.
Oh, okay.
And he's really big on the process. And the process emphasizes focusing on the present moment and executing each step with excellence.
Right. So how does the process help us when we encounter obstacles? Break that down for me.
Well, think about it this way, right? So instead of getting overwhelmed by like a huge obstacle or like a massive goal, right?
Yeah.
You break it down into smaller, manageable steps.
Okay.
And each of these steps becomes like a micro obstacle that you can overcome with focused action.
I got it. So instead of staring up at Mount Everest, I'm just focusing on taking one step at a time.
One foot in front of the other.
Right. But what happens when we trip and fall?
Yeah.
Because that happens too, right?
Oh, definitely happens.
Yeah.
And I think that's where embracing failure comes in, right? And one of the biggest messages of the book is failure is not the opposite of success.
All right.
It's part of the process.
Okay.
It's a necessary part of the journey. And, think about Thomas Edison and the light bulb.
Oh, yeah.
Right. It wasn't like he...
Like 6,000 times, I think.
Yeah, like 6,000 failed attempts before he got it.
Wow.
And the point is, he didn't look at those as failures.
Okay.
He looked at them as steps
to success, yeah.
Closer to success. Like he was constantly iterating.
Yeah.
Getting feedback, which is like, what they do with the MVP now.
Oh, the MVP.
The minimum viable product.
Minimum viable product.
Start small.
Okay.
Test your ideas, right?
Yeah.
And continuously improve based on what you learn.
I love that. So we can look at ourselves as startups of one.
Startups of one, exactly. Constantly learning and adapting.
Yeah.
So,
well, what about those situations where it just seems like there's no way forward?
Okay.
Like there is no path.
Yeah.
What do we do then?
Well, I think that's when Holiday introduces the idea of what he calls the side door strategy.
A side door strategy. Okay.
This is all about finding unconventional paths to success.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, give me an example.
Okay, so think about George Washington's victory at Trenton.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So he's facing this much larger, better equipped British army. He doesn't attack head on.
Yeah.
He chooses a surprise attack.
Okay.
Crossing the Delaware River.
Yeah.
On Christmas night.
Wow.
Right?
That is thinking outside the box?
Thinking outside the box. That's the side door strategy.
Yeah.
It's about finding leverage.
Okay.
In unexpected places. It's like judo. Using your opponent's strength against them.
Okay, so even with clever strategies, there are times when we just face situations we can't control.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Life just happens.
Life happens.
So how do we deal with those moments?
Yeah, I think that's where this discipline of the will comes in. Right. And this is, that inner strength.
Okay.
That fortitude that allows us to endure even the most difficult circumstances.
I love that because it feels like sometimes the only thing we can control is our own response to what's happening around us.
Your reaction to it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the book shares some powerful examples of this.
Okay, give me one.
Okay, so there's the incredible story of James Stockdale, who was a Navy pilot, who was a prisoner of war in Vietnam for 7.5 years.
Wow.
And he credits his survival to this mental discipline.
Okay.
Right? He focused on what he could control. His thoughts, his attitude, his inner strength.
It's amazing that we have so much power within ourselves, even when it feels like everything else.
Even when it feels like everything has been stripped away.
Has been taken from us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that inner strength is what allows us to not only survive challenges, but really thrive in the face of them.
Thrive. Okay. So now we're getting to amor fati.
Amor fati. Yeah. Okay, so...
Loving everything that happens.
Loving everything that happens.
Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Even the bad stuff.
Even the bad stuff.
How is that even possible?
It might seem counterintuitive, right? Yeah. But it's about finding a way to embrace every experience, even the difficult ones.
Okay.
And see the value in them.
Okay. I'm intrigued, but I need an example to wrap my head around this. How can you love the bad stuff?
There's this great story about Thomas Edison when his lab burned down.
Yeah, I know this story.
Right. Devastated.
You would think most people would be devastated, right? He's like, it prevents a man from being afflicted with ennui.
Whoa, hold on.
He actually saw the fire as a chance.
He was happy about this.
Well, happy is a strong word.
Okay.
But he saw it as a chance to rebuild, to start fresh.
Okay, so he found a way to spin it, right?
To spin it, yeah.
See the silver lining?
See the silver lining, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that's the power of amor fati.
The power of amor fati, yeah.
It's finding a way to say yes to life.
Say yes to life.
To all of it, all of it.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
And to use those experiences, those obstacles to help us grow.
As fuel for growth, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
I like it.
Yeah. It's like instead of resisting those experiences, you're surrendering to them.
Yeah.
You're embracing them as part of the journey.
Yeah. I like that. It's like an active acceptance.
Yes, active acceptance. And I think that fuels this perseverance, right?
Yeah.
That allows us to overcome some of these really daunting obstacles. And, you know, Holiday uses examples like Ulysses' journey.
Oh, yeah, from the Odyssey.
From the Odyssey, right.
It's filled with obstacles, yeah.
Filled with setbacks, challenges.
Yeah.
But ultimately, he makes it home.
Never gave up.
Never gave up. And there's Grant's siege at Vicksburg during the Civil War. This unwavering persistence and refusal to give up, right?
Yeah.
It led to a pivotal victory for the Union.
So it sounds like what you're saying is it's not about, you know, just having this positive mindset.
Yeah.
It's about
action.
Action, yeah.
It's about actually doing the work.
Yeah. Doing the work and being persistent and all those things.
Absolutely.
This makes me think of Churchill, his famous keep buggering on.
Keep buggering on. Yeah. KBO. That relentless spirit.
Yeah.
That refusal to be defeated.
Yeah. So that's all well and good.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder, you know, what's it all for?
Yeah.
Like, what is the goal?
Well, I think that's where the book brings in this idea of finding something bigger than yourself. Right. Of connecting to a purpose.
Okay.
That transcends our immediate desires and struggles.
So it's not just about me achieving my goals.
It's not all about you.
Right. It's about me contributing to something larger.
Contributing to something larger. Exactly. And it's about thinking about your legacy. Right. What mark do you want to leave on the world?
What do I want to be remembered for?
What kind of contribution do you want to make?
Yeah, and this kind of makes me think of the whole Stoic concept of memento mori.
Memento mori. Remember death.
Remembering death.
Yeah. It's a reminder.
Yeah.
That we have limited time.
Yeah.
So let's make it count.
Let's make it count.
Let's use that time to create something meaningful, to leave a positive impact on the world. And so...
Okay, so we're using all these obstacles, these struggles that we have in life, as fuel for growth.
Fuel for growth.
To propel ourselves forward and to contribute
to a larger purpose.
That's a great way to put it. And that's the essence of what Holiday, I think, is trying to convey with the obstacle is the way.
Okay.
But it's one thing to understand these concepts intellectually, right? And it's another
to
actually live them out in our daily lives.
Right. Because it's easy to get swept up in the inspiration of it all.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And then real life hits.
Real life hits.
And we're like, wait a minute.
You forget all about it.
So how do we bridge that gap?
That's the question.
Right. Between the ideas.
Yeah. And the action.
Well, I think.
Or the implementation of it.
The implementation, yeah. And the book actually provides some really great examples.
Okay, good.
Of how to do that.
Okay, give me an example.
Okay. So one that stands out is the story of Marcus Aurelius.
Oh, okay.
Who was
the Roman emperor.
Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, right?
Okay.
And he faces this major obstacle
Okay.
when Avidius Cassius, who was a trusted general, rebels and declares himself emperor.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Right. Talk about a betrayal.
Yeah.
Right.
Major obstacle.
And you can imagine the anger,
Yeah.
the frustration that Aurelius must have felt.
For sure.
Right. But his response
Okay.
is a masterclass
What did he do?
in Stoic principles.
Okay.
So instead of giving in to that rage,
Yeah.
he focuses on what he can control,
Okay.
his own actions, his own virtue. He prepares to defend the empire,
Okay.
but also he's seeking a peaceful resolution.
So he's not just like, sitting back and hoping for the best.
He's taking action,
Yeah. Okay.
but he's also maintaining this sense of composure and wisdom.
Okay.
And get this, he even urges the Senate to spare the lives of those who conspired with Cassius.
He's a better man than I am.
He shows incredible restraint
Yeah.
and forgiveness.
That is impressive.
And I think that's the power of this approach, right?
Okay.
It's about rising above the pettiness, the drama, the emotional turmoil, right?
Yeah.
And focusing on
What matters.
what truly matters.
Yeah.
Acting with justice, wisdom, and courage.
Okay, but what about those situations where, like, in this example, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's truly outside of his control because Cassius was actually killed by his own troops before Aurelius could offer him clemency.
Right. And even then,
Yeah.
Aurelius is able to kind of turn this into an opportunity.
Okay.
Right. He uses it to demonstrate the power of forgiveness, choosing virtue, even when
you don't.
the outcome isn't what you had hoped.
How you want, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think this is a key takeaway from the book.
Okay.
Right. The obstacle is not just the way to our goals. It's also the way to becoming better versions of ourselves.
I like that. It's that growth mindset.
Growth mindset.
Always trying to learn and evolve.
Yeah. Constantly striving to learn and evolve.
Even when things are tough.
Even when things are tough. And, I think it's about remembering that life is a series of obstacles.
Yeah.
Right. It's not about reaching this mythical destination where there are no more challenges.
Right.
It's about embracing the journey. Right. The constant uphill battle.
The struggle is real.
The struggle is real.
Yeah.
And using each obstacle to fuel our growth and progress. So, yeah.
It makes me think of that, what is it? The Haitian proverb, behind mountains are more mountains.
Behind mountains are more mountains, yes.
But, instead of seeing that as daunting, you could see it as exciting.
As exciting.
Right. It's like, okay, bring it on.
Bring it on. What's next?
What's the next? Yeah. And I think it just speaks to this whole idea of just that persistent spirit that keep buggering on.
Keep buggering on.
Mentality.
Yeah. And I think it's also about remembering that we're not alone in this.
Yeah.
Right? We all
have our
own challenges, right?
Yeah.
But by embracing this philosophy,
the obstacle is the way.
The obstacle is the way. We can find that strength, the wisdom, the resilience to overcome them.
This has been a really fascinating deep dive.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
It's a powerful book.
It is, yeah. We've gone over some amazing stories.
Amazing stories.
Mind-blowing concepts.
Yeah, mind-blowing concept.
Really practical insights.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how these ancient Stoic principles articulated by thinkers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus. Right?
Yeah. Still resonates so powerfully in our modern world.
Yeah, they really do.
It's a testament to the enduring power of wisdom, right? Finding these timeless truths that can help us navigate the complexities of life.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
No matter what era we live in. And I think for anyone looking for a really practical guide for navigating challenges, for turning obstacles into opportunities, I highly recommend diving into The Obstacle is the Way itself.
Yeah, it's a book that can really change your perspective.
Absolutely.
It can empower you to kind of take control of your own life.
Take control of your own narrative.
Right, and really inspire you to embrace the journey.
Embrace the journey.
With all its
ups and downs. Ups and downs. Because ultimately, the obstacle is not something to be feared or avoided.
Okay.
It's something to be embraced.
Okay.
To be used to fuel our growth, our progress, our evolution.
As individuals and as a society.
As individuals and as a society.
Yeah. So as you face your own obstacles.
Yes.
Remember,
the obstacle is the way.
Yeah.
And with the right mindset,
Yeah.
the right approach, the right spirit, you can turn even the toughest challenges into opportunities for growth,
Yeah.
for strength, and ultimately for success.
Love it.
Thanks for joining us
Yeah, this was great.
on this deep dive.
I really enjoyed it.
Until next time.
It's like we're taking those difficult experiences and we're actually using them to help us grow.
Exactly. Instead of just trying to avoid them.
And I think that's what fuels true perseverance, right? The kind that allows us to overcome even the most daunting obstacles. And Holiday illustrates this, with stories like Ulysses' journey in the Odyssey,
Oh, yeah.
filled with setbacks and challenges.
He went through a lot.
He went through a lot, but he ultimately makes it home.
He never gave up.
Never gave up. Or Grant's siege of Vicksburg during the Civil War.
Okay.
His unwavering persistence, his refusal to give up.
Led to a pivotal victory for the Union.
It reminds me of Churchill.
Yeah.
His KBO, keep buggering on.
Keep buggering on. That relentless spirit, that refusal to be defeated.
Yeah, so we're talking about all this striving, this pushing forward, this
Right.
embracing of obstacles.
Yeah.
What's it all for?
Yeah, that's a great question.
You know what I mean? What's the point?
I think that's where the book brings in this idea of finding something bigger than yourself, right? Connecting to a purpose that transcends, our immediate desires and struggles.
So it's not just about, achieving my goals.
That's just about you.
It's about contributing to something larger than myself.
Contributing to something larger than yourself. It's about legacy, right?
Okay.
What mark do we want to leave on the world? What contribution do we want to make?
And that kind of reminds me of that Stoic concept, memento mori, right?
Memento mori.
Yeah.
Remember death.
Remembering death.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that, we don't have forever.
We have limited.
So let's make it count.
Let's make it count. Exactly. Let's use that time to create something meaningful, to leave a positive impact.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a good takeaway. So we're using our obstacles, our struggles, our failures, as fuel for growth.
Yeah, to propel us forward.
To ultimately contribute to a larger purpose.
That's a great way to put it. And I think that is the essence of what Holiday is trying to convey in The Obstacle is the Way.
Yeah.
And it's a really powerful message. And as we've discussed,
Yeah.
it's one thing to understand these concepts intellectually.
Right.
It's another to actually live them out.
Yeah, that's always the challenge.
That's a challenge, right?
Yeah.
So how do we bridge that gap between
how do we
theory and practice?
Right.
And luckily, The Obstacle is the Way gives us some good examples of how to do that.
Okay, all ears.
Okay, so one that stands out to me is the story of Marcus Aurelius, right?
The Roman emperor.
The Roman emperor, the Stoic philosopher, and he faces this major obstacle when Avidius Cassius, who was a trusted general,
Oh, wow.
rebels and declares himself emperor.
Betrayal.
Talk about betrayal, right? Talk about a major obstacle.
Yeah.
And you can imagine, the anger, the frustration that Aurelius must have felt.
Of course. Yeah.
But his response, I think, is really a masterclass.
What did he do?
In Stoic principles.
Okay.
So instead of giving into that rage,
Yeah.
he focuses on what he can control.
Okay.
His own actions, his own virtue.
Yeah.
He prepares to defend the empire, but he's also seeking a peaceful resolution. So he's not just
So he's not passive.
sitting back, hoping for the best.
He's taking action.
He's taking action, but he's maintaining this real sense of composure and wisdom.
Okay.
And get this, he urges the Senate to spare the lives of those who conspired with Cassius.
Wow.
He showed incredible restraint
taking the high road.
and forgiveness.
Yeah.
And I think that's the power of this approach, right? It's about rising above the pettiness, the drama, the emotional turmoil, right?
Yeah.
And focusing on what truly matters.
Yeah.
Acting with justice, with wisdom, with courage.
Okay, but what about when, even in this example, it truly is outside of his control because Cassius was killed by his own troops before Aurelius could offer him clemency?
Right. And even then, I think Aurelius is able to turn this into an opportunity.
Okay.
Right. He uses it to demonstrate the power of forgiveness.
Yeah.
Of choosing virtue even when
it doesn't work out.
The outcome isn't what you had hoped for.
Or that you wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this is a key takeaway from the book, right?
Okay, what is it?
The obstacle is not just the way to our goals.
Oh.
It's also the way to becoming better versions of ourselves.
I like that.
Yeah.
So it's like we said before, that growth mindset.
Growth mindset, constantly striving.
Always
To
learn.
learn and evolve even when things are tough.
Even when things are tough.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
think it's about remembering that life is a series of obstacles.
It's years of obstacles, yeah.
It's not about, reaching some point where there's no more challenges, no more problems.
That never happens.
Right. It's about embracing the journey.
Embracing the journey.
With all the ups and downs.
All the ups and downs, that constant uphill battle, right?
Yeah. And using each obstacle to fuel our growth and our progress.
That's it.
Yeah. It makes me think of that proverb. What is it? The Haitian proverb.
Yeah.
Behind mountains are more mountains.
Behind mountains are more mountains, yes.
But, instead of seeing that as, daunting, you could see it as exciting.
As exciting, yeah. Like, bring it on.
Bring it on, yeah.
What's next?
What's next? What's the next challenge? Yeah. And it really just speaks to this whole, persistent spirit that keep buggering on.
Keep buggering on.
That relentlessness.
Yeah, and I think it's about remembering that we're not alone in this.
We're not alone in this. We all have our mountains.
We all have our mountains.
Our to climb. Our obstacles to overcome.
Yeah, but by embracing this philosophy,
The obstacle is the way.
the obstacle's the way, we can find that strength, that wisdom, that resilience to overcome them.
This has been a really fascinating deep dive.
It's a powerful book.
It is a really powerful book.
Yeah.
We've talked about so many amazing stories,
Amazing story.
mind-blowing concepts,
Mind-blowing concepts.
and really practical insights.
Yeah, it's amazing how these ancient Stoic principles, articulated by thinkers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus,
Yeah.
still resonate so powerfully
They do.
in our modern
Nice.
world.
Yeah.
It's a testament to the enduring power of wisdom, finding these timeless truths that can help us navigate the complexities of life, no matter what era we live in.
And for anyone listening who wants a practical guide for navigating challenges, for
Yeah.
turning obstacles into opportunities,
I highly recommend diving into The Obstacle is the Way itself.
it's a book that can change your perspective.
Absolutely.
It can empower you to take control of your own narrative and really inspire you to embrace the journey with all of its ups and downs.
Embrace the journey, because ultimately,
Yeah.
the obstacle is not something to be feared or avoided. It's something to be embraced, to be used to fuel our growth, our progress, our evolution as individuals.
As individuals and as a society.
As individuals and as a society.
So as you face your own obstacles, remember, the obstacle is the way. And with the right mindset, the right approach, the right spirit, you can turn even the toughest challenges into opportunities for growth, for strength, and ultimately for success.
Love it. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, this is great.
Until next time.